Warden Caputo's office, this is Miss Jefferson speaking.
Jefferson, I got it.
My bad, my bad.
Danielle, great to meet you.
Thank you, lovely to meet you too.
I'm such a fan of your work.
Thank you.
An incredible story, your career. But tell me, as a young girl from Augusta, Georgia, visiting New York on your first time, The Color Purple, when it originally ran, was the first Broadway musical you ever saw?
Yes, it was 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago now. I had come to New York, first trip, free trip that I had won from an internship I had applied for, and my dad had took me to see The Color Purple, and I was in awe. And it just really, really was the thing that made me want to take this very seriously and to make it a career. And I got really focused and ended up going to school in New York, college in New York, and I did Orange, and then they asked me to audition for The Color Purple, and here we are. I'm in it, Tony nominated, all this stuff. It's kind of full. It definitely is a full circle moment for me, and I'm glad that it happened the way that it did.
You mentioned your father. Your father is a deacon, your mother is a minister. You grew up in a very religious household in Augusta, Georgia.
South Carolina.
South Carolina as well.
Born
in Georgia, raised in
Yes,
South Carolina as well.
yes.
How do you go to those parents and say, I want to go to New York and be an actress?
You know, my parents were very supportive of me, but I do remember one story, like when I was around 9, 10, and 11, I had auditioned for the Apollo Theater in Harlem, but I had auditioned in a Greenville Mall 3 times, and I had lost all 3 times. And my dad told me, he said, Danielle, it's only 1 in 1,000 people that get to experience things like that. And I remember keeping in my head, I want to be one of those 1 in 1,000s. I got to be that one. And sure enough, you know, I fought and I kept dreaming and dreaming, and it came true. But they were very supportive. My mom found every program to put me in, acting program, which in Greenville, there were a lot of, so I was lucky to have the arts in where I lived. And so she took advantage of it, and I was always bouncing from school to school, from arts program to the next one, and ended up going to a place called the Governor's School for Arts and Humanities in South Carolina, where Patina Miller also went, who was in Pippin, who won a Tony for Pippin, and Nicole Bahari, Tiana Paris. So a lot of nice names have come out of that school.
And was it culture shock for you when you came here to go to Juilliard and live in New York? Was it a really different experience?
You know, Jamie, I really wanted to act like the tough girl. I came here at 17 when I got into Juilliard, and I really wanted to be like, I got this, I don't need South Carolina, it's too slow for me. But I ended up getting homesick, and the Juilliard is right across the street from Central Park, and I remember for Thanksgiving I wasn't able to go home, and I sat under a tree in Central Park, and I just cried my eyes out because it reminded me of home, having the trees and the grass, and I just had a moment and just, you know, of just wishing that I was back home. But I've shortly found a family, a community, and that's what I love so much about the theater, is that it's so easy to find that community, and people really do look out for one another and care about each other. And so I found a new family in theater.
When you walk down the street in New York City, it's different than being in LA and being on a hit TV show, because people will often recognize you and call you out because we're all walking on the street.
Yes.
How many times a week do people yell out Taystee to you?
Let me tell you, Jamie, it's crazy because I will have just finished doing a 2.5 show playing Sofia, and I come out to greet the fans, and they are still calling me Taystee. I'm like, it's on the playbill. Like, I'm playing, my name is Danielle, I'm playing Sofia, and people are still calling me Taystee. But it's really, that means I've made an impact. My character really has made an impact. But I tell you, I'm the type of chick that really tries to stay as normal as I can, and so I still ride the train when I feel like I can, if it's not too much that day. And I'm always getting Taystee. But it's cool. I'm glad that my character is likable instead of playing someone like Porn Stash, where people are like, you know, or V, where they're like, don't like them and see them as a villain. You know?
The options are not great.
Yeah.
Taystee. What doors has that opportunity on Orange is the New Black opened to you in your career?
You know, I'm really grateful for them. First of all, I feel like Orange is the New Black has really allowed me to be comfortable in my skin and who I am. It's allowed me to understand that I'm enough in this business, like I don't have to change myself, and I really appreciate them for that because it has opened up doors when it comes to working on Masters of None or working on Girls. I can come into the room and be myself and not think I have to be someone else. So I've gained that from them as well as everyone was so willing to play ball when it came to Color Purple and Orange is the New Black. I was shooting Orange in the day during the process of rehearsals and previews and opening night of Color Purple. So I'm really grateful that they were allowed to, they allowed me to just be in both places at once, literally some days. And they all were so supportive. Gingy came to the show, all my girls, producers, Lionsgate, all of them came to support me, from even the crew. And I appreciate them so much. And I'm going to do it again. I'll be starting back at the end of the month. I'll be doing both again.
So this revival has been a tremendous success. Many people think it's a reimagining of the source material. The production you and I saw in 2005 was a beautiful show and very moving, but to see it now, it's been scaled down, it's been made more powerful. Moments have been plucked out that didn't really have importance in the previous production. A lot of that is a credit to this incredible cast, but some of it's got to go to the director, John Doyle.
Definitely.
What has he been like to work with?
John Doyle is amazing to work with. The first thing he had us do when we got in the room was all sit on the floor and just connect with each other. And he told us why he wanted to direct this project, and even told us that he didn't feel that he was the one to do it because of his color and his background. But he is.
You don't think a story about strong black women in the South should be directed by an old Scottish guy, right? That's not the first thing that comes to mind.
He's so perfect because what the story really is about is humanity, and he has that, the purest form of it. And so getting to work with him has just been a wonder and a dream. He really is observant of the actors and what we do. Like, I remember sitting there one day and I had just sat in Kyle Scatliff, who plays Harpo's lap, and he was like, "Keep that. We're gonna keep that." And that's the first thing that I do when I walk out. I sit on his lap instead of get a chair and sit in a chair. So like, he's so observant of real life and how we move and are. And again, like you said, it's very stripped down. You hear the words, you hear the music, and I think that's why people are being moved so much more by it, because you can't hide behind anything, and you really get to see the soul and the heart of the struggle that those people are going through. And I can't tell you how powerful it is every night to sit there and at the end we're singing the reprise. And last night I saw a man, white guy, had to be 6'4", maybe 40 years old, and he just had his hands out, stretched out like this, receiving. He just like it. And to me, that is what it's all about, is for people to receive healing, receive strength, receive change. That's why we do what we do. And so we give, and in hopes that someone's life is changed, and ours too. So I don't know, I love the theater for that reason.
And there's something dynamic going on this season, especially in Broadway, in a time when the Oscars and Hollywood get singled out for lack of diversity and opportunity, tremendous opportunity for minority women and men, and not just diversity on stage in musicals like The Color Purple and Hamilton and Shuffle Along, but diversity in the audience like we've never seen in Broadway.
Yeah.
Is it powerful for you to be part of that?
Yes, I think it's very interesting because I'm in a very specific position. I think our show has so much diversity in the theater when it comes to the audience. But I don't know if that's the case for every show. It is for Hamilton, and I'm Eclipsed and things like that. But I don't know if that is for Long Day's Journey into Night or any of the other shows like Fiddler on the Roof. I don't know if that is the case. But from my perspective, what I'm learning and what I know is that when you allow a story to be told, and it's like a classic American story, people will come and see it. And it doesn't matter how much. I think sometimes people are like, certain minorities don't have the funds to see a Broadway show, but they do. If they want to see it, they will. And what they want to see is themselves being on that stage. And I think that's why our show does have so much diversity in it. And what I also want to highlight is what I appreciate about the theater is like, it's not just minorities when it comes to black and white. Like, there are so many different stories, from new playwrights to the classics to the deaf community being represented to shows like Fiddler on the Roof, Shuffle Along. It's so diverse on so many other levels, and that's what I appreciate about the theater.
What does it mean to you as a young actress who, living in the South, growing up there, dreamed of coming to New York, dreamed of being an actor, went to Juilliard, now on Broadway, that your peers have nominated you for a Tony?
I'm very humbled by it all. I am so grateful for every no that I heard in my career that set me up for this moment. I thank them for saying no, because it's all the stars have just aligned perfectly for me to get to experience everything that I am getting to experience, meeting the people that I'm getting to meet, getting to step on that stage in this story means so much to me. And so I say, I'm just grateful. I'm just so grateful.